Hey, how's it going, everyone? Um, Welcome to my channel once again, and figured I'd talk about 11 or no 12 Asian horror films that I believe um, are great movies that should be seen. Some of these are better than others, admittedly. And this isn't a list of the best. This isn't like a top 12. It's just 12 random movies that I pulled off the shelf that I feel um, that I wanted to recommend, basically, and just kind of talk about each film very briefly, because I don't want this video to be 30 minutes long or whatever. Um, and I'd say most of these are fairly well known, but I try to throw in a couple that you might not know that I feel like you should that deserves to be seen. Um, and yeah, I love Asian horror films. Um, what more can I say? Let's just get right into it. Fuck it. Starting with Reincarnation. This is a film from 2005, directed by Takashi Shimizu. I'm sure I mispronounced that. I'm sorry, but the same guy who directed The Grudge, the original Grudge, as well as the remake. Actually, did both of them. Um, he's done some other good films too. What was that one? Don't Look Up. That's a good one. Check that out. I don't own that one, but if you can find it, check it out. But this is a good movie. It has a scene involving um, a doll that really creeped me out. Um, but yeah, this is a good movie. It's part of the After Dark 8 Films to Die For, which usually, in my opinion, produces a lot of shit. But this is one of the exceptions. This is a pretty good one. So check out Reincarnation. Um, Next, I'll go with One Missed Call. Sorry about the lighting, by the way. I know it's not great, but whatever. I'm working with what I got. Um, but yeah, the original One Missed Call. Avoid the remake like the fucking plague. Hated that fucking remake. Um, but this is actually very good. Directed by Takashi Miike. Also directed Audition. Lots of great stuff. Ichi the Killer. This might be my favorite of his, honestly. I'd say it's between this and Audition. I like Ichi the Killer, but I like most of his stuff, actually. But this is probably my favorite one, just because it's actually, I find it creepy, and it's very visually effective. Lots of like great like creepy imagery and whatnot, great atmosphere. Um, and yeah, like I said, the remake is terrible, but check this one out. I also enjoyed the sequel, One Missed Call 2. I think there's like at least two more sequels. There's a few sequels to this one, like quite a few, but um, I would stick to this one and maybe the sequel if you care about it. If you like this one, check out the sequel. That's all I'll put it that way. But yeah, really like that one. One Missed Call. Next, go with A Tale of Two Sisters. This was remade into The Uninvited um, in like 2009 or something like that, which was actually not a bad remake. But this one is so much better though. This movie is visually stunning. It's a beautiful movie. It's very serious, very almost it's a dark film, but not dark like in the way you might think. Um, but yeah, it's just a beautiful film, very dramatic. It's kind of more of a drama in certain aspects than it is a horror film. It's still obviously a horror film. It's very scary at times, very creepy, very eerie, very effective, atmospheric as hell. Um, Very masterfully directed. Cinematography is excellent. Just check it out. That's all I gotta say. Tale of Two Sisters, one of the best. This is a Korean film. Fucking check it out immediately. Then we've got The Eye. Great film, classic at this point, directed by the Pang brothers. I believe. Let me make sure I got that right. For look, yeah, the Pang brothers, um, who have also directed some other good stuff. I think they did the sequel to this, The Eye 2, which was okay. The rest of the sequels I would kind of avoid, but this is definitely their best film though. Love The Eye. The remake with Jessica Alba was not very good, but this is a very creepy film. Um, Especially a scene involving an elevator. That's all I'll say. Great film. Really, very interesting story. Great concept. The ending, I was never the biggest fan of the ending, but you know, it still works. It works for the movie. The ending's fine. But yeah, very creepy film, very unsettling, very disturbing imagery, and yeah, really love it. I believe this is a Chinese film. If I'm not, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's Chinese. Um, I'm pretty sure it's Chinese. But yeah, either way, check out The Eye. And sorry. Next, I'll go with Dark Water. Obviously, the original. They had a remake with Jennifer Connelly, which was okay. I think John C. Reilly was in that movie, but this is a so much better film. Which I mean, pretty much all of these are. I mean, I can't really think of one where the American version was better, in my opinion, anyway. Um, but yeah, um, Dark Water, directed by Hideo Nakata. I know. I'm sorry. I'm sure I'm butchering these names, but you know, I'm doing my best. But yeah, the same guy who directed The Ring, and the original Ring, of course, Ring U. And yeah, this movie is very creepy, very eerie, very spooky. Once again, I mean, I can say I've pretty much said I'm repeating myself at this point. All these movies are pretty much creepy, eerie, spooky, atmospheric, but it is what it is. That's what Asian countries are so good at making movies like this. That are atmospheric and creepy and just get under your skin. They're very, very unsettling stuff in this movie. Very, very creepy imagery, and also, it's kind of a sad movie at times as well. But very great story, beautiful story, very well shot, and yeah, probably maybe not as good as The Ring, but it's probably his second best film. So yeah, check out Dark Water. And this one is called The Uninvited. Or just Uninvited. No, The Uninvited, okay. Um, this movie, it's... I'm hard pressed to even call it a horror film. It's more of a psychological drama, mystery, thriller kind of thing, but fuck it. I mean, it's a horror film to me, whatever. Because it involves ghosts and stuff like that. So basically, it's about this guy who um, is on the subway one day, and he sees two little girls, sleeping, but on the subway, and it turns out that they were dead, murdered. And he starts seeing their spirits in his house, and all kinds of trying to figure out. He meets this clairvoyant woman, and he's just basically trying to figure out the mystery of what happened to these girls and everything. It's just very, very good film, very well directed. It's a slow burn, so if you don't like slow films, I might skip this one. I've heard people call it boring and whatnot. It is slow moving. It is a slow burn. It's a very slow build, but I think it's worth it. And yeah, it's a great story. Very, very well done. And next, I'll go with Ju-On, aka The Grudge. And I think this is the first one. Because I know there's The Curse, and then there's The Grudge, and whatever else. I think I don't know. It works as a standalone film, so whatever. But this is one of the scariest movies of all time, in my opinion. Very frightening, very creepy, extremely effective, well shot, well directed, and yeah, I mean, I'm sure we all know the story at this point. Especially if you've seen the American version, The Grudge, which I'm sure most people have, then you know the story. It's the same. It's the same fucking movie basically, but just done much better here. And yeah, like I said, just a very creepy film. Very fucking creepy film. So yeah, check out The Grudge if you haven't seen it. Highly recommended. Very well acted too, I forgot to say. And this, probably my favorite actually. Shudder. I think this is one of the more underrated ones actually. You don't hear this one talked about as much as like The Ring and The Grudge and all that kind of stuff, or even like The Eye. This is probably my favorite Asian horror film, just in general, and one of my favorite ghost stories, one of my favorite supernatural, whatever you want to call it, paranormal movies, and this one really scared the shit out of me. I'm just to be honest, this one really creeps me the fuck out every time I watch it, just because of the imagery. Like there's some really creepy images in this fucking movie. So, but it's a very unique, pretty damn interesting story with a twist at the end, which I thought was pretty well done. It's well acted. Music is great. Yeah, I this is my favorite of all of them. Really love this movie. Check out Shudder. They did a remake with Joshua Jackson, which, it was alright. Not the worst thing in the world, but this is a million times better. Check out Shudder. Highly recommended. Next, we've got The Unborn. I realize there's quite a few movies called The Unborn, but this is one of the better ones. Because you have the shitty one, American, not a remake of this, but the American film called The Unborn, directed by David S. Goyer. That wasn't very good. This movie, I believe this is a Thai film. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's Thai. It doesn't say on here, but I'm pretty sure it's a Thai film. Or it could be Vietnamese or something. I'm sorry, I'm kind of... Oh well, it doesn't really matter. I'm pretty sure it's Thai. But yeah, this movie... very atmospheric, once again. Very psychological. Kind of a psychological thriller involving these hallucinations that this pregnant woman is experiencing in this hospital. She finds out that it's basically she's trying to distinguish between reality and these hallucinations, these visions. Really good stuff, really intense, really suspenseful, well acted, well directed, well written, great fucking movie. Check out The Unborn. I never hear anybody talk about this one. Next, of course, I had to include, well, really both of these. Ringu, aka The Ring, of course, and the sequel, Ringu 2. Because I really like both of these. The American, The Ring 2, sucks ass, but this is actually pretty damn good follow-up to this one. And this is pretty widely known at this point, of course. And it deserves it. I mean, it is very, very creepy film, very scary at times. Once again, the imagery, something about the imagery in these movies just gets me. I don't know what it is. Like just like the stereotypical, I think it's called Yurei, female ghost in white with the black hair hanging down. That stereotypical ghost from Asian countries, Japan in particular, just really creeps me the fuck out. And it's very well done in this film. Everybody pretty much knows this movie by now, so I'm not really going to go into the story, but, a very well done film. Once again, I can say that about all of these, really. Very well directed, well acted, the music is great, very haunting atmosphere. I mean, yeah, check out Ring You if you haven't seen it. I don't know why you haven't seen it by now if you're watching this video, but as well as the sequel, Ring You 2. Um, it has a different story than the American sequel, and it's a much better story in my opinion. It works a lot better. And yeah, I mean, it's just a great follow up to the first one. So, and it's very creepy as well. So yeah, check out Ring You 2. If you like the first one, definitely check out this one. And now, two more. Um, we've got Pulse, Japanese film. And this is basically about electronic devices, Wi-Fi signal, Wi-Fi signals and all that. Basically, it's very hard to explain, but it's a supernatural film about involving like telephone signals and all this kind of electronic stuff. It sounds stupid when I describe it like that, but just watch the movie. It's very good, very well done. Also known as Cairo. What did I say? Cairo. I'm sorry. Once again, I can't pronounce shit like this, but very scary film, very creepy, atmospheric, eerie as hell, spooky as fuck. Very intense, very unique story. Very well acted. Probably some of the better acting is in this one. So yeah, check out Pulse. They had once again, I think they've remade damn near all of these, but they had a remake with Kristen Bell, which sucked dick. Don't watch that one, but definitely I wouldn't skip over this one. Check out Pulse if you can find it. Very good film. And the last one I'll talk about is one that I don't hear talked about too much, but I think it deserves it. That is Phone. This is a very suspenseful film. I think this might have been directed by the guy. No, never mind. Okay, I thought it was directed by the same guy who did The Ring, but it's not. But this is a top-notch film. Very suspenseful, very intense, very creepy. And this is kind of more of it's almost like When a Stranger Calls, but it's different, but it's semi-similar to that basic story. It's basically about this woman who is a journalist, I believe, or some kind of reporter, and she is writing stories about sex crimes and scandals and whatnot. And basically, she starts receiving these phone calls, and you're trying to figure out who's making the calls. You think it's the guy behind the crimes and whatnot. It's more of a thriller, but it's still a horror film. It does have supernatural elements, so check out Phone. Very, very solid film. That like I said, I don't hear people talk about this one as much, but yeah, it's very good too, from 2004. All right, and I think that'll do it. So, and there's some audible mentions that I just didn't grab for whatever reason. Either some that I don't own on DVD, some that just for whatever reason just forgot to grab or whatever. Nerori the Curse. Check that one out. It's probably one of the scariest films that I've ever seen. It's a found footage movie, but it's one of the best found footage movies out there. It's a Japanese film. Also, what are some good ones, man? I think I talked about a lot of the best ones. Old Boy, of course. Audition. Check those out. I'm not really a fan of like the torture porn ones, like Grotesque, or the Guinea Pig series. I mean, I'm not into that stuff, so I left those out for obvious reasons. But there's some anthology ones. Dark Tales of Japan. That's a good anthology. What the hell is that one movie? Doll from Hell. That That is a Japanese shot on video film from the 90s, which is actually pretty well done for considering the budget and, the being a very low budget 90s film shot on video. It was pretty well done. I don't know if it's worth going out and buying, but if you find it for free somewhere, I'd probably give it a shot. But anyway, this is already 20 minutes long, so whatever. Um, but yeah, those are some Asian horror films that I thought deserved to be mentioned and talked about a little bit. So, uh, yeah, go out and watch them. And thanks for watching the video. Stay tuned for more. Thanks.